Before dawn on Saturday, Ukraine went dark again as freezing temperatures tightened their grip.
A new wave of Russian missiles and drones struck the country's energy infrastructure, triggering emergency blackouts across large parts of the nation. Power facilities were deliberately targeted, leaving hundreds of thousands of civilians without electricity or heat in sub-zero conditions. Repair crews were placed on standby but could not begin work while air raid warnings continued, forcing families to endure another night in cold, silent apartments. Ukrainian officials say these attacks are not random. They describe a calculated strategy aimed at turning winter into a weapon. By striking energy systems during the coldest weeks of the year, Russia increases pressure on civilians and stretches Ukraine's already strained air defenses. The impact has been especially severe in Kyiv, where President Volodymyr Zelenskyy said more than 1,100 apartment buildings remain without heating, with nighttime temperatures expected to drop to -8 degrees Celsius. Prolonged outages pose serious risks, particularly for the elderly and children. In a sharp public address, Zelenskyy demanded faster action and warned that Ukraine's air defense performance has been uneven. Systems designed to intercept attack drones have worked well in some regions but failed in others, leaving dangerous gaps. He announced that staff reshuffles are underway, saying there is no time for weeks or months of delay while infrastructure is being destroyed and people are left in the cold. Emergency assistance has been redirected to the capital as crews race to restore power whenever conditions allow. All of this is unfolding alongside fragile diplomatic efforts. Ukraine and Russia have held 2 rounds of U.S.-brokered talks in Abu Dhabi since January. The discussions resulted in a major prisoner exchange but stalled on the central issue of territory. From Washington, President Donald Trump has expressed optimism, saying talks with both sides are progressing and that a deal could be possible. The Kremlin has indicated a 3rd round of negotiations may take place soon, though no date has been announced. For ordinary Ukrainians, the contrast is stark. While cautious diplomatic language dominates headlines, the reality on the ground is defined by missiles, drones, and freezing nights. That reality became terrifyingly clear last week when a civilian passenger train carrying more than 200 people came under attack in the Kharkiv region. Crew members spotted Russian drones tracking the train and had less than a minute to react. One drone struck the tracks, forcing an emergency stop, and another hit a passenger carriage. 5 people were killed. Footage from the scene showed a rail car engulfed in flames and passengers fleeing across snow-covered tracks. Train staff rushed through the carriages, warning people and pulling them toward exits before taking cover themselves. Ukrainian officials say such attacks are becoming more frequent as Russia intensifies strikes on railway infrastructure, a system used to evacuate civilians and supply the country. Moscow denies deliberately targeting civilians, but Ukrainian authorities argue the pattern of attacks tells a different story. Railways remain a lifeline in wartime Ukraine, and keeping them running has become an act of defiance as much as necessity. As diplomacy continues and winter deepens, millions of Ukrainians remain caught between high-level negotiations and the harsh reality of a war that shows little sign of slowing down.